trial now.
Hi traders, Shawn Lucas here. So good to be with you. I'm here with my good friend Todd.
Good to be here.
And you ready to do some trading?
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. We got a big day coming up here, a big news event. What's happening?
Mr. Powell is going to talk to us.
Mr. Powell. So what do you think he's going to say, Todd?
I think we're not going to hear a whole lot of major changes.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to be listening for what's coming up down the road. And if that's not what everybody wants, we could see some volatility coming in.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I think there's a little bit of an expectation that not much is going to happen right now. You know, with this announcement, they've kind of already signaled that they're not going to raise rates, right?
No chance, I don't think.
You have some insight on that, you know?
Well,
you have the inside scoop?
I have the inside scoop. I've got the ear of Mr. Powell, so that's always good.
Well, before we get started, let me just talk about a couple of things real quick. I don't know how many of you are following, but I've got a goal, a trading goal. I've been working on it since our Trading for Income boot camp 2 weeks ago. We started out with a $50,000 trading account, and my goal is to make enough money to buy a truck. We took a poll in our trading in the YouTube Live last week, and Chevys are like inching ahead of Ford. So it's like this epic battle between Ford and Chevy right now, and Chevy's got the lead. And you know, I buy trucks based on majority rules.
That's right. That's right. So Ford guys, we need to pick it up a little bit here.
So if you want me to get in a Ford pickup truck, then you better cast your votes on this session here. What do you think? Oh, Mercedes wagon. That's an option. I wasn't even considering a Mercedes wagon.
Well, you've got to look at new opportunities, maybe, and expand your horizons.
My goal is 52,000. Right now, I am sitting at. So I started at 50,000. My goal is to make 52,000, and I'm sitting at 99,000. So I am only $3,000 away from my goal.
Maybe today's the day.
Do you think we'll get enough volatility today?
This could push you.
I don't know if I want to trade heavy on an FOMC day, but maybe. Hey, I noticed Karen's in the chat room with us this morning. I just want to wish Karen a congratulations. She was our first taproom trader. So we did a taproom trading event this morning where she was on her computer out in Illinois somewhere, and I'm at my computer here in Utah, and I gave her the reins. I gave her access to my trading account, my computer, and she traded away this morning, and she made about, she took home we're going to mail her a check for about $500. So congratulations, Karen. It was wonderful trading with you, and thanks for your patience as we kind of figure out how that taproom trading is going to work. Just for those of you out there, so you kind of understand what we're doing, we're going to try and do this once a week, where we all log into a trading session, probably on a Wednesday morning, and I will trade with one of you. So one of the members of the taproom community, the taproom community, I'll randomly pick you, and we'll sit down and do a trading session, and whatever we make, you'll get a check, a trading profit check in the mail. So it's kind of fun. Similar format to our Trader on the Street. So the Trader on the Street will actually go out across the country, randomly, selecting someone out on the street and trading with them. Only this will be online, so it's the same concept, only we're going to do it online, and I'll be trading with members of our taproom community. There is a fee to join the tap room. It's $10 a month, but way worth $10 to be a part of this great community that we're building in the tap room. So look forward to trading with you in there. Other than that, I think we're just going to kind of wait here for the Fed announcement to come out. We've got a few minutes in advance of that announcement. You got anything you want to kind of enlighten us, Todd?
Well, one of the things we hear a lot about, the Fed and what they're going to do. And we have to be careful because sometimes what the Fed says and how the market reacts is not always exactly the way that we would have expected it. So we have to be very careful and realize that we don't want to get how would we put it, a pre-announcement bias with what we think should happen. And we talk quite a bit about the idea of holding on to these big losses, or when things move really hard against us, or we're in some type of a drawdown. And a lot of that happens because we aren't willing or aren't able to get out of those trades because of the bias that we have taken with that. So we have to be very careful, especially when we're expecting something to happen and it doesn't happen, or it happens opposite of what we thought. So this is a big news announcement. A lot of the announcements, and in the morning and the Daily Forex Fanatics, we'll trade some of the smaller ones, and we'll get a little bit of movement sometimes. And a lot of times we'll come into this FOMC thinking that we're going to get a big move, or the potential for a big move, and then it doesn't happen, or we don't think it's going to happen and then it does happen. So we just have to be prepared, make sure that we use appropriate risk management for what we're doing, and trade it for what it is. And sometimes we can have a little bit of luck, and that luck will go a long ways, and sometimes we won't, and we just need to make sure we don't risk too much or put too much at risk when we're trading things like this. But we have the press conference that's going to come out at 2:30, so we'll have the announcement come out, or the release come out at 2 o'clock, and then we'll have about a half an hour where the market's going to determine what the prices want to do, and then we have the press conference, which then can add a whole nother level of volatility as the market tries to figure out what the heck Mr. Powell's trying to say, or what he's alluding to. And one little word, you can, they'll read into it and may or may not.
Little word, yeah. And it's weird. You don't know what that word is.
Now, if we knew the word
into the event, if you knew the word,
then that would be great.
You just sit there and wait for the word.
The word.
And then the word would come, and you'd trade, and all would be great, right?
Isn't there a song about a word?
Word. Like the bird?
The bird is the word.
The bird is the word.
The bird is the word. Okay, that's right.
Man, I love trading with you, Todd. It's a lot of fun. We should do it more often.
We should do it like every day trade.
Yeah, we
start
should
trading every day.
We should trade every day.
I just can't wait to get in the truck and trade while you're driving down the road.
I gotta get a big passenger seat, or a big back seat.
What are you saying?
No, nothing.
I need a big seat?
No. I need seat warmers. That's what I need.
Are you going to have Wi-Fi? Is it going to be Wi-Fi enabled so that you can just use your own Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it's either that or my phone. So I don't know if I don't know how good those Wi-Fi, the car Wi-Fis are. But maybe someone in the chat box.
Maybe they haven't.
How's the Wi-Fi in these vehicles? I think, I might consider it.
Well, especially if you're going to be traveling around the country here.
So yes, we are. In fact, our next trading summit is in North Carolina. And we're going to get in the truck, the brand new truck. We're going to get in the brand new truck, and we are going to drive to North Carolina. Road trip. Sounds fun, right? So
when you say we, exactly who do you mean we?
We? Aren't you going to come trade with me?
I'll trade with you, yeah, via Wi-Fi.
We can stop in Omaha and trade in Omaha. We could stop in Nashville, trade in Nashville. We could stop in St. Louis and do a trading session in St. Louis. I mean, we could really have a lot of trading time together, Todd.
When you get the Apiary jet, then that'll be good. Yeah, that'll be good.
I hear that flies. Doesn't roll, it flies.
Doesn't roll.
Oh, they have a F650 with 6 doors.
Wow.
Is that a thing?
It's like a limo. A limo truck.
A limo truck? So we are going to do some trader on the streets on the way out to the summit. Not sure whether we're going to be in which cities, but probably Nashville. We're going to take the truck, and Todd's actually going to fly out to North Carolina. He doesn't want to drive, but we'll go out and do a couple of trading sessions. I think we're going to do one in Nashville, maybe one in Omaha. So any of you in that area, we'd love to trade with you. We will get the word out where we're going to be. We'll probably do it indoors, not actually on the street this time, but in a hotel or something like that. So.
Especially when it's, 51 below somewhere?
Yeah, that's Larry. Larry's here with us today, and Larry was saying it's like minus 54.
It's crazy.
That's when your keyboard freezes, or if you lick your finger and then you try to hit the keyboard, you're like, I can't. Then you're like placing trades every time you're up and down.
Yeah, pulling it out.
Yeah.
Well, can I? How do I pull up my screen here? I want to show them something that I'm looking for, or looking at. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a couple of different things. And again, when I'm looking at trading some type of a news event, I'm very cautious. I don't like to risk a lot. I'm one who really likes to have consistency in how prices are going to move. Now, that doesn't mean there's not going to be volatility. Of course, there is. But when I know that there's going to be added volatility or the potential for added volatility, I'm going to be very careful about risking a lot. So I typically use small position sizes, and I would suggest that if you are interested in becoming a news trader or really looking at news events to help make money for you, that you do it with small position sizes until you have a strategy that you're comfortable with. So I've done a couple of things here that I'll just show you. First of all, I've got the euro dollar in the upper left here, and I've got a buy stop and sell stop. So this strategy, what I'm going to do is we approach, here we got 17, 18 minutes before the announcement comes out. What I'm going to be doing is, at about 5 minutes to the announcement, I'm going to tighten these up so that I'm just maybe within 10 pips from the buy stop and the sell stop from what the price currently is. Then we can see that the price, these are 1 minute charts, really just kind of moving sideways. The top right is the pound US dollar. It's moving sideways. I've got buy stop, sell stops on those. US CAD bottom left, a little more of a trend right here, but again, I'll move these up. I'll tighten them to within about 10 pips to the upside and to the downside. And then what I'm looking for is just a big move. And again, big is going to be relative to what our expectations are in terms of what we're trading and how we're trading. And so if I can get a 10 or 15 pip move on this, I'm going to probably look at jumping out of these. Now, occasionally what will happen is we'll get a really big move, right? There'll be something that is a surprise that comes out, and it'll really react pretty quickly. One of the downsides with the news like this is if it moves too fast, you can actually get filled on both sides of it, right? And we've seen this before in class where it'll jump down, get filled, jump back up, and get filled, and you'll be in two positions that are moving against you. Again, another reason to use small position sizes. The other thing that will happen, as you know, is that you will have a widening of the spread occasionally, where it starts to get a little bit wider, and so we have to be careful that we don't get too aggressive with our positions. What I'll be doing is, as I'm watching price move, I'll need to make the adjustments of my buy stops and my sell stops, so that if I do get it moving up or closing in on one of the buy stop, sell stop positions, I'll adjust those, because I don't want to get filled before the announcement. And this is true with any strategy. You know, if we've got setups, we've got conditions that we're looking for to enter into a trade, we don't want to get in before the setup has actually occurred. I'm also got the same thing happening on the dollar, the gold dollar here, down in the bottom middle, and then on the bottom right I got a pound yen. On here I just did a straight, I bought and I sold. And so what I'm going to be looking for on here, you can see on the bottom left here I've got two positions. One is down 1.9 pips, the other is up almost a pip. And what I'm going to look for is, if I can get a quick reaction, I'm going to look to close out of the trade once it's moved in the direction, and then look to trade it back to where it came from, basically. So I'm looking for a couple of different things here. Again, if it doesn't work out, generally I'll get out of trades pretty quickly. So if I don't get the immediate reaction that I wanted, I don't want to sit in there and let it just sit there while it's waiting to do something else. So if I'm getting in a trade because of a expectation of a big move, if that big move happens, great, then I'll trade out of it. If it doesn't happen, then I'll close these positions. You can see down here on this US CAD right now, it's continuing to move up, so I'm going to adjust that. Again, I don't want to get filled before the announcement comes out. And we got about 13 minutes here, and we could see some pre-movements going on, and we'll just kind of have to trade those. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay, sounds good. I'm so just real quick, so what I'm looking at here is we've got a lot of choppy trading coming into the session today, and we basically, before a news event like this, you're going to look at your primary pivot points. You've got some resistance up at this point. You've got some support down here, but you've got some support in here. So we're gonna take a look at how does the market trade around these levels. You've got one in here. So the idea being is that once we break a few of these levels, then we're going to start to build into that direction. We're going to jump on the bias in the market, and as that bias starts to build in one direction or the other, we'll start to layer into that build or into that direction. So at the moment, a lot of choppy trading, but we've got a little wedge starting to form, and clearly we're going to break that. I mean, that's a given. And then really, what I'll be doing for the most part is just trading the volatility. Anytime we get volatility, I will be scalping it as much as I possibly can, trading in the direction of that volatility. If it's going up, we'll try and catch breakouts. After it breaks out and hits the end of its momentum run, then we try and pick up some short or some retracements off that. So I'll just be trading a lot of ins and outs, a lot of very short-term trades, just trying to catch that volatility as it starts to form. The challenge with this, obviously, is slippage, right, Todd?
Yep.
So slippage is our biggest challenge, and sometimes you'll have to widen your take profits to make that, and sometimes when you widen the take profits, you still, you don't get enough. you widen this take profits, your slippage is still big enough that it's not worth the trade. So you kind of have to balance that slippage with the volatility that comes from that market.
So Shawn, in your trading, do you make any adjustments in terms of risk management for a potential big move one way or the other?
So this isn't a time, FOMC announcements or any news event like this is not a time that I would be building large positions. So I keep position size small, just so that I can build up to 1 lot, 2 lots, something like that. In an account like this, I should be able to trade a full half a lot or a full lot without any trouble, building up to about 6, 7, a 6 or 7 position size. I'll keep it down about half of that today in the trading session. So a lot of small pieces, small pieces.
Yeah, I think, that's a good word of warning to people who haven't traded news a lot. I'll see people who will get into a trade, or even those that didn't get into a trade, they'll look back and say, boy, if I would have just bought the euro dollar when it ran up 100 pips on this news, I'd have been great. The problem is, we can look back and easily see what we could have done, right?
Oh yeah, hindsight.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020, right?
I can tell you exactly where you should have bought today on this.
In an hour from now.
Yes, in an hour from now. I'll tell you. We'll come back and I'll tell you where you should have bought.
Shawn, you should have bought here.
Yeah. So we just have to be careful because we can look at things and look at big movements and say, gosh, if I'd have just done that, I would have been okay. The problem is that the next time that we go to the FOMC, then we start to trade based off of that unrealistic bias of what we could have done. And so using good risk management, getting comfortable with actually trading the news, seeing how it does. Doing it in a demo account to start out with, I think, is a fantastic way to get a sense of what to expect and how things can move.
So I'm going to build a couple of trades in right here. These are longs, so we're coming down into consolidation. This may break to the downside, but what we'll start to see is, as the closer we get to the news event, we'll start to see maybe a little bit the volatility pick up a little bit. And so maybe, plus I'll keep it really small, and if I'm on the wrong side of this market, no big deal, but if I'm on the right side of it, so this is more of a gamble trade. So sometimes when I do this, I'll see that market gap on the news event. So it'll be trading down at this level, and this is highly risky, right? They'll be trading down at this level, and then it'll gap up and start trading here. And everything in between there is super thin trading. Oh, look, see, I'm on the wrong side of that. That's the volatility that I was expecting coming into it. Now let's see if we can get a retrace. Anyway, then you get that gap, and you get a little bit of slippages on your side of the slippages in your favor in that case. Not something I recommend if in your own personal accounts, but if you're risking very small amounts like I am right here, a couple of trades like that, not going to hurt. I mean, it could hurt, but easily redeemable, especially when you have a good pad like I built up this morning before we got into the room.
Yeah, and we're coming down to about 5 minutes here before the announcement comes, and so we easily could see, this start to get choppy as it's moving.
There I'm starting to pick up a little bit of that chop, just booking a little bit of that chop into the account. And we're 5 minutes away, so I expect that chop to to continue. Nothing, I wouldn't expect to see any kind of runaway market at this point. So, and again, I'm in such a small position right now that even if the announcement hits and I'm on the wrong side of it, I'll be easily able to recoup and fix that. So, just a speculation, pure speculation. I like to live dangerous every once in a while.
And when you use the word gamble, it's really not a gamble in terms of just throwing money at the wind and hoping that it blows the right direction, right?
Yeah, it's not that kind of gamble. There's a reason why I'm doing it, and more often than not, the reasoning is sound. All right, so we're bumping up against that little trend resistance. If we, so that'll be hard for it to break through that at this point. See if we get a little pre-Powell punch through there. Pre-Powell punch.
Pre-Powell punch.
Pre-Powell punch.
That's like the 3 Ps. Well, that's good. We'll have to use that.
The 3-Powell punch. Maybe I'll write a blog article.
3-Powell punch.
Pre-Powell punch. I don't know if I could say that 5 times real fast. All right, pushing on that trend line right now. If it breaks through that, which I doubt it will, we might close out of those trades before the Fed announcement. Fed pre-announcement trading is kind of leaning us to the downside, to a stronger dollar right now. At this point, I don't have any preconceived notions as to which direction the dollar's going to run or the euro's going to run. So I will be very reactive here in a moment. I could put a couple of shorts on. In fact, I think I'll do that right in here. So I'm going to put both longs and shorts on.
So we got 2 minutes here. Just the exciting thing is all this build up, and then it won't move at all.
I know.
We'll be like, the countdown's coming. And
didn't that happen to us a couple of sessions ago?
I think it did,
back in October or something like that, November. We got all excited, built all this hype up, and it was a fizzle.
But it was fun.
It's always fun trading with you, Todd. Always fun.
I can't wait for the lemonade stand this summer again.
Remember that guy stopped and bought lemonade from us? Gave us $1.
So those poor guys.
I know, we're sitting there, we're moving literally millions of dollars through the currency market, and he hands us $1.
He felt good about it,
for
though.
A glass of lemonade. I loved it. It was awesome. Yeah, go back and watch that old YouTube episode, The Lemonade Stand.
All right, so we got less than a minute here. 30 seconds, 35 seconds.
Okay, so I've got longs and shorts on. So one side will trigger, and then we'll build out of the other side.
There we go.
All right.
15
any
seconds
minute now. There we go. Longs all triggered. Now I'm going to build a couple of shorts and fade this outer edge here. Just like that, we're upside down. Not sure what the announcement is, but definitely a weaker dollar. So pointing towards a weaker dollar.
Whew.
So just looking for some volatility right now. So what happens is we get the initial punch, the Powell punch, and then looking for some retracement. Going to pull these profit targets up to a range here. There, it's pulling off some of those profit targets. And a drop. One more good push lower and I'll be closed out of those positions. I'm going to build the other side. Build a couple of longs in. So I'm just looking for volatility, not so much direction right now, just mostly volatility.
Yeah, it looks like there's no change as expected.
No change. What they say, one of you, it's the balance sheet that everybody's looking at. What's the balance sheet?
Brian picked up 75 pips on that. Nice job.
Hey. Okay, now it's going to go into sleep mode probably.
Well, we have the press conference here coming up, so we want to make sure that we recognize that things can get a little bit quiet as that develops. That's a nice little move.
Keeping the position size small. Looks like I've got a lot going on, but I don't really have a lot going on. So I'm transitioning out of the longs and building short positions. Again, all I'm looking for is volatility right now. So one little push lower.
You know, one of the things that we see a lot happening with these big moves is, you know, a retracement back down again. So I would expect to see some of this come back here, settle down.
Just volatility, that's all I need. That's all I'm looking for. Direction's not really a concern, mostly volatility. And then we'll start to pull these up because now we've got a good layer of support. So let's pull all these trade profits up into the support layer. Now, what we need to turn this into a profitable session is a pullback. And doesn't need to be a big one. We'll just add a little bit here and there. So I'm up to 7 lots on this trade, and hopefully as it comes back down, we'll peel off about half of those, and maybe get that pullback off the initial push higher. So just a pullback. peeling off more trades here. Scale is a little off. I need to get it to see a little bit better. So they're holding it in the upper ranges on that. That might lead to another leg higher. Right now, we've lost most of the pips that we gained for the day that I came into the session, the padding that I came into the session with, but I'm not worried about that as long as we get some movement. So the big volatility is just kind of shrinking right now, and that's obviously we're waiting for the announcement. So
patience is what he's saying.
Have patience.
Patience.
There's a little reversal now. Now let's see if we get some follow through to the downside. And as we get back in, so I'm keeping an eye on my unrealized down here as that approaches, smaller numbers than this, then I'll be starting to peel off some of these other trades. One thing you'll notice when I trade, I don't mind losses. I don't mind taking a loss. That's hard for a lot of traders to deal with. They think if they take a loss, then they're a bad trader or this or that. But what matters is at the end of the day, did you manage yourself accordingly? Did you manage yourself so that you're up at the end of the day? And that's what matters.
And one of the things I think is interesting to watch traders who really are comfortable with what they're doing is you wouldn't know if they're making money or losing money. I mean, I can sit next to you and not know if you did a good, things were great or things weren't good.
If everything's gone bad. So little retracement. They're holding the market's holding up in its upper ranges. Need a little retracement. Need a lower low at this point. If we get a lower low, there might be a little bit of the bears piling on that. But again, we're just waiting for announcement, or we're waiting for a statement at this point.
And that could change everything, right? The market gets that initial move, and then he starts talking, and then it's right back to where it started.
It's who knows what happens at that point. Still just kind of slow trading. Okay, so as it comes down, then we'll start to build a little bit of a long position. So I'm always positioning it for the next leg. Okay, one more profit layer, and we should be. And I'll start to peel off some of these initial trades. One more profit layer, so we hit it right now. And I'll start to peel them off. Now that's going to very likely start to place a leg higher. So I'm going to start a long position. See if we can test the old highs again. I'm going to leave all those shorts on because I don't we haven't had a pullback that's, in my opinion, we haven't had a pullback yet. So I want to leave those on until we get a legitimate pullback. So I'm going to scalp the other direction while I'm holding on to these shorts here. And those should, we've got some connection challenges here. All right, we're having some connection challenges, so we try signing off and signing back in.
LPS Warrior Fan on E6 says, this has been my personal best day to date. My stats are now in great shape. I made gold 1 this morning.
Fantastic. That's great.
That is awesome.
Congratulations, Warrior Fan. Got it reloaded, but it's still having some challenges. And I'm not able to connect, so that's not a good thing. We're probably back up. I'm not even able to connect right now.
Yeah, so mine's coming through, but it's a little choppy. So ultimately, what I did here is I just closed a lot of these positions as they began moving in my favor. What will happen is when I'm doing a buy stop, sell stop setup, when it moves quickly in my direction, then I end up closing the ones that did not get filled so that I'm out of those and not having to worry about them getting filled later on. So right now I'm up 179. It's up about 80 pips before the announcement, so a couple hundred pips on this. I still got about 150 that are floating around here, and so I'm gonna watch this through the press conference and see what happens.
I think the press conference will be the big. I think that's what everyone's looking forward to. Like the rate announcement was an important part of today's meeting, but really the notes will be what everybody is kind of looking forward to. And I think all eyes are on the balance sheet right now. So will the balance sheet? So right now we're on a auto reduction of the balance sheet. They built that balance sheet up so high, so there's so many assets on it. They're selling off the assets, or not selling them off, but getting rid of reducing the balance sheet. And through that process, it's kind of an anchor on the economy. The monetary.
The other thing I think, with the press conference, they're obviously going to be kind of giving some future guidance in terms of what might be happening. The other thing I think that's a little bit different now is, in the boot camp a couple weeks ago, we watched the Brexit, was it the House of Commons where they were yelling and stuff?
Yeah.
So we watched that. That's still going on. I think that those are things that the Fed really has no control over in terms of what is going to happen there. And I think that can affect what happens through this rest of this year. So I think it's going to be tricky to watch, see what they come up with to try to keep things rolling in the economy here.
So I'm getting a data feed, but I'm not able to load my orders right now, so I'm still kind of dead in the water. So what's going to happen now? It's actually a good demonstration, A lot of things can happen during high volatility, high visibility times, right? Because there's so much movement in the market right now. Normally we may be pushing 20, 30 ticks per second down the pipeline, right? You got 20, 30 ticks per second on a normal trading chart. The capacity, how many ticks we're trying to shove through the pipes right now will increase like 10-fold, 20-fold, 100-fold. And so things can get really bogged down during times like this, especially like, for example, during the Brexit, like the initial Brexit, it dropped an enormous amount of pips during a very small period of time, and it was hard to get trades through. Obviously, we're having some trouble connecting with the LPs right now, and I've got trades on the books right now, but I can't actually get to them. So, as a trader, it's easy to blame. It would be easy to blame. Excuse me. It would be easy to blame the LP. It would be easy to blame the pipe. It'd be easy to blame, whomever. There's a long list of blame that you could give. But at the end of the day, whose responsibility is it? It's my responsibility. I've got trades on there, and I've got to fix those trades, or I'm taking responsibility for the losses that I'll incur through that process. So if those aren't risks that you're willing to take, then you want to avoid trading during these type of sessions, right?
Absolutely.
Because it can happen, and it will happen if this is, if there is a time when you're going to have connectivity problems, this is the time you're going to have them. And I need to take that responsibility as a trader, because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for what goes in or out of my account, right? If I'm going to take the trade right now, I'm going to be responsible for it. And when this comes back up, I'll have a little bit of fixing I need to do in order to get back into profitability. But that's okay. It's really not that hard of a thing to do. It's really not that hard of a thing to do if you manage your trades correctly, and don't get too big, don't get too heavy, don't build up too many losses, all of that.
You may want to close out and come back in and see.
Log back on again. Try that.
So we got 10 minutes till the press conference here.
just reconnected here.
And if you're really interested, you could go to the, if you type in FOMC press conference, you can actually watch it live. Which is always exciting.
All right. Just really kind of just going so sideways. Once that announcement hits, we're going to see a little bit more action. And
if you want, you can go back and listen to the press conference tonight as you're laying in bed. If you have trouble sleeping, it may be something that will help you. A lot of these are continuing to run a little bit.
yeah, it just got a really slight, a very small edge, doesn't it?
Kimberly said made 9.7 gain today.
Nice.
Jillian said you're awesome.
That was for you.
No, I think that was you.
I think that's you. Do we anticipate a reversal after the Fed meeting, or the Fed notes? Do you think it'll go down,
I think we'll
or do you
get
think
some
you'll get a
sellback.
reversal?
I mean, probabilities are we're going to get some type of settling here, depending on. I mean, who knows? They could say something that would push us higher.
Yeah.
James, yeah, so James is saying, do we want to retrace our steps and anticipate a big reversal after the press conference? I think we'll see some additional movement there. It is streamed on it. I've got it right here. It's if you just go to a search engine and search for the FOMC press conference.
Oh, you're sharing it. Awesome.
It's It'll be live in 4 minutes. Things have definitely slowed down though.
We're getting close, right?
Yep.
3
3 minutes. Do you want to log in on here? See if you can pull it up.
I think it's my user. I've got a few trades on my that is trying to load. No video streaming.
Still waiting for it to pop up here.
Just a few more minutes.
Nick, 250 pips. Nice job.
Nice.
Biker says Bloomberg. Thanks, Steve. Milo, 60 pip hit. Looking for a reverse.
So, Pal's in kind of a tough spot right here, you know, because he's got what he says right now, everybody will hang on every word that he says right now, so he'll be in a little bit of a tough spot.
Maybe settling down here a little bit. Well, we got 1 minute till it's supposed to start here, so see if it pops up. Biker's up 120 pips. Nick says some of them were longer term trades on that move. Good.
Nice. Man, are they going to start that?
I don't know if this is just delayed or what.
It might be delayed.
Oh, there we go.
It's starting.
I don't know if I've got sound on this or not, but I can read his lips, so I'm good.
Is it not?
It's playing, but there's no, for some reason, I don't like getting sound.
Well, we'll know what he says when the ticker starts turning.
Brent's up 150. Nice job. I'm not sure who Ted is. Who's Ted? Ted
Wilson?
Ted Wilson? Yep, we're running up again.
Yes, we are.
I'm going to be closing out some of these positions here. So, Philip, if you're asking me as far as a typical range from the current price, you have to buy sell limits. So the buy stop, sell stops for this. So generally, I want to get in pretty quick, and so I'm keeping it within 5 to 10 pips usually. If there's a strong area of where it's moved sideways and I can find some support or resistance, I'll put it just up above that.
Still nothing market moving. This is just what we're seeing right now is just follow through from the initial move.
His confirmation of what's said.
So nothing real market moving yet.
Not sure why I can't get the sound on here.
And I just cannot get these. There we go.
All right.
The traditional case for rate increases is to protect the economy from risks that arise when rates are too low for too long, particularly the risk of too high inflation. Over the past few months, that risk appears to have diminished. Inflation readings have been muted, and the recent drop in oil prices is likely to push headline inflation lower still in coming months. Further, as we noted in our post-meeting statement, while survey-based measures of inflation expectations have been stable, financial market measures of inflation compensation have moved lower. Similarly, the risk of financial imbalances appears to have receded, as a number of indicators that showed elevated levels of financial risk appetite lapsed.
The real question is, what does the purple tie mean?
In this environment,
interesting.
we can best support the economy.
That's got to be a secret message.
Before making any future adjustment to policy.
Not red, not blue.
The purple.
Purple. Balance sheet normalization. Over its past 3 meetings, the FOMC has held in-depth discussions on the final stages of this process. Today, we made some important progress in clarifying the path forward, as summarized in the statement regarding monetary policy implementation and balance sheet normalization that we released with today's FOMC statement.
Oh, there we go.
The committee made the fundamental decision today to
I am
continue
way
indefinitely
upside down.
using our current operating procedure for implementing monetary policy. That is, we will continue to use our administered rates to control the policy rate, with an ample supply of reserves, so that active management of reserves is not required. This is often called a floor system or an abundant reserves system. Under the current set of operating procedures, as outlined.
Nice job, Robert.
Note,
Got 3 trades in a row,
this
10 pips each.
funds rate, our active policy tool is
All
held
right,
within
so
its
I
target
am
range.
very upside down. I just got all my, I just was able to get all my orders back on the screen. And so I am very upside down on these trades. So the longs that I had last placed, those have triggered, and I'm upside down about 600 pips. I've got 500, so I'm just upside down on this trade. So now I'm now I'm gonna have to get into fix it mode and try and see if I can fix what went wrong today. So how do I do that? I need volatility first of all, and I might just want to start to close out some of these. And as long as I can get some volatility, I think we can fix this. So I'm seeing a little bit of bumping up and down on the trade right now. So I'm gonna try and catch a little of that. And I'm only at 2.6 lots. Just need some volatility, that's all I'm looking for. Pulls back, take some profits, add some longs. So now I'm building some longs. I've got some shorts on, and again, all I'll be looking for is a little bit of volatility to shake these things out, and we'll start to rebuild on top of what we were. And this is not Montague says martingale is dangerous, and that's correct. If this was a true martingale, this is not martingale. I'm picking up volatility, so I'm just trading both sides of the direction, so both sides of the market. So it's not true martingale. And just need some volatility, that's all. Pull back, build back in. So just still nothing moving. So as long as it just as long as we don't have any volatility, there's not much we can do.
We're going into the Q&A now.
There we're breaking up. So now this is where we're going to get the questions, the hard questions that the market wants the answers to. And let's just watch and see how this Q&A session works out. And peeling off a little bit on the short side here. And taking off. So always making sure that we're building up and taking off on both sides. That's what makes it. That's what makes this technique effective. Is if all you did was build into positions and hope that the market comes back against you or back in your favor, then you're in trouble. But if you're all constantly building positions, taking them off, adding positions, taking them off, then you're then as long as you've got volatility, you should be fine. Occasionally you're going to take a loss, but everybody takes losses, right, Todd?
You got to take losses.
So longs are pulling off right now, coming up and hitting those long targets. And we're just going to work our way out of the little hole. Still not a lot of volatility. I expected a little bit more, out of the Q&A session than we're seeing right now. So okay. Pull these up here, build in just kind of marching higher here, so still not a lot of volatility. We're just looking for some up and down movement, little up, little down. We can just peel off these trades, little pieces at a time. The strength in the rally is notable, right? There's the upward move in the euro is significant, but it's for the last, most of that was in the first 5 minutes of trading. Since then it's been a little slow climb, very slow climb. And we're just going to look for a little bit of volatility here. Once that volatility hits, we should be in good shape. If it doesn't hit, then we just keep wobbling. Just wobble, wobble, wobble.
So let me ask you a question, Shawn, on this. I mean, if you took if you closed all your trades right now and took all your losses, you'd be down, what, 10 or 15% on your account?
No. No. Right now I'm down about 0.5% on the account. So that's the thing. I think, a loss isn't a big deal, right? When you're trading, a loss isn't going to hurt you. What hurts you is getting too committed one direction or too deep one direction, where you end up losing. You end up losing more than you can afford to lose, right? So I came into the session with a buffer of about 500, 600 pips coming into the session. Now I've lost those, and I'm down, 300 at the moment. I'm down about 300 pips at the moment. So that's not on the day, that's not a significant impact on the day, right? Yeah. On this trading session, probably a bad trading session. But if I continue to sit here and manage these trades, and we get a little bit of volatility, I'll be able to walk away with a win for the day. And it's just a function of, am I going to hit my stride right now, or is it going to take me 15 minutes or 30 minutes to hit my stride? And whatever it is, I'll hit that stride, and then I'll be right back in the saddle again. But in the meanwhile, I can't let my losses get to the point where, it's unredeemable.
Yeah.
I just wish there was some movement. The slow grind is what makes it tough. Sounds like Powell's probably doing a pretty good job walking the line. I'm not listening to him speak, but it sounds like he's doing a pretty good job walking the line, keeping everybody happy. There's a move that will do me some good, right there. So now I'm peeling off. Peeling off, peeling off, peeling off. There's a good little push. Now I'm going to build some longs in here, start to trade the other side. Now provided it holds. Holds the pattern. It can even drop, because so I've got one layer of longs in. It can drop and pull all these shorts out, and that would be great. There we go. Nice. Now I'm left with a layer of longs on. Well, not exactly yet. Okay, now I'm left with a layer of longs, and now it's going to get the big retracement. That's what it does, right? A little bit of volatility. but it's still just not sure which. It's just tepid. The trading is tepid.
Some movement here.
The one thing that would be bad here is if we get a full retracement of the initial move. So we've kind of got to draw our line on the sand. So now we're getting into long positions on the outer edges of this, and gonna try and build a long pop. And maybe this is one of those situations where Pal talking, the more Pal talks, the worse it gets.
He's digging a hole now. I'm sitting on my hands right now, G. It'll be interesting to see. A lot of times right when they wrap up, you'll get a nice little move, because as traders are listening to what he's saying, they end up, when he can't say any more or is done, then you'll see him go into their positions and push that. Nice job, James. If we get another run up and it takes out those highs, we could see an extended move here, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Sitting right on the reversal point right now. Let's see if those bulls step back into this. So they gave the bears a chance. Now let's see if the bulls step back in. Tried to push it up right there. It was not much of a push though. There's a little stronger move, a little stronger.
Josh says that you're equivalent to Blackbeard, the master pirate, stealing pips.
Blackbeard, Redbeard.
Good job, Oscar.
As long as he doesn't rock the boat too much, we should see that leg, that up leg, this uptrend resume. So it's all dependent upon Pal's vernacular right now, what he's saying, the words he's using. Pulling off profit targets right in here. I'm going to build into some other shorts as we go through this process. Just need volatility, and as long as we get a little volatility, things should be good. But this is not volatility. This is just very tepid, reactionary trading right now. Pulled into a little profit on that. And I'm going to build some, ooh, that's not good. Little volatility, pick it up there. Something moved it. Up. This is just real right now. Right now, guys, this is just real low probability trading, right? And it's hard to know which direction this market will move ultimately. It's hard to know which direction it'll move in the short term, in the long term. Because everything is hinged on, you know, what one man is saying right now. So we gotta, once he's done talking, then we'll get some direction established and hopefully be able to make a little bit in the directional trade. My goal right now is to get back to break even on the trade, which I'm pretty close to, not quite there yet, but close. This is a good line right there. If we break up above that, we should be good up into that upper range. So I'll quickly put on a bunch of longs. If we break that, little anticipation here. Keeping it light. Keeping it real light. And a pullback. So that's a false break right there. Let's see if it winds back up again. Looking for it to wind back up and break up higher. There we go. And a wick break. So wick break on that. Let's see if it rallies up there one more time. A little stronger momentum coming in, but another wick. So it came in a little stronger that time, but hit some resistance and forming a wick. Now we should probably get a leg lower unless there's a lot of strength in that with these bulls. So, but at this point, a leg lower would be more realistic. Holding in those upper ranges. If you can hold in that upper range, then we should get a good pop. Hold that upper range, but it's forming the wick right now. That's not what we like to see, not what we want to see.
It wants to do something here.
It wants to break. There's a little move. And still not breaking it, just sitting there on it. Isn't that? I kind of like that. It kind of makes me, I love the challenge of it. It's like, is it going to break? Is it going to break? Is it not going to break? Is it not going to break? So the more times it tries, the more wicks it forms on the top, the more courage it gives the bears. But if it can hold think of it in, if it can hold its ground, if it can make a push, hold its ground, make another little push, hold its ground, as long as it can hold its ground, then we're really at a stalemate right here. Bears and bulls will both be taking whatever cues they can to justify their move. But what I tend to see is that the more it's able to hold its ground, up to a point, if it's able to hold its ground, then it usually gives them a good argument for breaking through. It's given up a little bit right here, and if it doesn't retrace real strong, then we could have a leg lower. There's the leg lower. So you see what we watched it come up, try and break through, pulled back, tried again, pulled back, tried again, held it, and it was just too much to hold. So now the bears have control of the market. Now, as long as it doesn't break any support levels, I'll just keep on holding my long positions, building into a little bit stronger position. And then notice right now, there's a good chance that I can hit profit targets before the next resistance level, so I like that. As long as I can keep booking profit into the account, I'll just keep booking it. But it's kind of dicey right now. Okay, the thing I don't want to see right here is I don't want to see a break of these lows. So as long as we can stay above that, we'll keep playing the game how we've been playing it, as long as we can stay above these lows. Book some profit, give us a reversal. Engulfing candle would be nice for this position. keep an eye on where this moves. Again, let's see if we can get a reversal candle here. So close. No reversal candle. I'm adjusting these because if we get that, I need the reversal candle, and if I get the reversal candle, then we should get enough momentum to hit that next resistance, which was the old support up here. Reversal candle has not formed yet, but is very close.
Rookie, I don't have any positions right now. I'm just enjoying watching Shawn work his way out of this.
I'm threading a needle. Right. Feel like I'm threading a needle. It'd be nice to get some volatility. The overlay box is, oh, gotcha. We'll try and move that overlay box from the bottom left corner to another area. So you can see the current. Keith, can you move the overlay box from the bottom corner to another corner or something? Upper left corner? There we go. So not enough to really pull out of that. So it got the reversal candle, but now it's pulling back, so no follow through on the reversal candle. And a leg lower. And a call for Todd. Oh, it's Powell.
Yeah, end the press conference, please. We're getting tired of hearing you. Okay, thanks.
Thanks. I like to see a little bit more action than this. All right, here's the thing. We tried to break up, couldn't do it. Pulled back down, tried to stage a reversal, couldn't do it. We've got an engulfing bear candle that's bringing us down to some old support levels. The question is, will these old support levels be enough to support the bears, to stave them off? And that's debatable at this point. At this point, it almost feels like we're going to have another leg to the downside build. So I'm going to hedge off right now with some shorts because it's looking a little weaker than I like to see for the longs. So we're going to hedge off with the shorts and peel off some of the longs. And these are just really slow marching candles, which are, for my style of trading, is really kind of makes it difficult to trade. Because I like to see that volatility. I like to see some, up and down movement, a a little bit of tug of war between the bulls and the bears. Not these persistent, I don't know which leg to jump on type moves. So all those little shorts should take profit right in here. And now we're going to build some longs. And I've got alveo issues again, connection. And you want to show them what you got? Because I am...
Yeah, I ended about the time he started speaking. I started with about 85 pips, I think, something like that. Ended with about 449.8. I'm going to call it 450 just to make it sound better. But just kind of scalping. Normally, I would be giving this some time to just hold on and let it settle down. I wouldn't be trading during this time normally anyway, so chances are I'm pretty much done for trading right now, and really wouldn't be looking to do too much more than that. But ultimately, traded about 5 pairs, and I don't know how many 100 trades or something like that by the time it all was said and done. And so normally I'd wrap it up and go get lunch or something.
Well, I may wrap it up as well because I can't load up my positions right now.
You're right, rookie. I'm very modest, except for my jacket.
All right, I think I'm going to wrap up today and go talk to the alveo team. Go have a nice little conversation with them. All right, traders, great to be with you today. Again, it's always fun to trade. It's always fun to get in and do a little trading. And for those of you who are in the Apiary Fund, we will see you in the morning, bright and early. And I'm confident that we'll have a little better session tomorrow. And other than that, we'll see you in the trading room in the morning. And
I'll see you before that. I'll see you before that.
Yeah, you've got
Daily Forex Fanatic. So
you've got him before me. So, thanks, traders. We'll see ya.
See ya.
Looking for more? My Trading Signals is a way to give you signals and teach you how those signals were conceived. By clicking on the link below, you will have access to Steve Perry's classes, tips, weekly review sessions, and all signals being sent out. Start your free 30-day trial today.